Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today, let's learn some examples of interrogative sentences and how we change them from direct speech to indirect speech. Number first, he said to me, "Where are you going?" He said to me, "Where are you going?" And we know in questions how we change the reporting verb, and when the question begins with WH word, we repeat the same word. And first we change subject, then verb. He said to me. In the indirect, I can write, he asked me where I was going. First we change subject, then verb. He asked me where I was going. Number second, he said to me, "Can you give me your pen?" Now here the question begins with modal. When the question begins with modal or auxiliary verb, we use if or whether to introduce indirect speech. He said to me. He asked me. He asked me if I could give him my pen. Number third, he said to me. He said to me, when will you give me your books? He said to me, when will you give me your books? He asked me, when, first we change subject, I would give him my books. Number fourth, what do you want? What do you want? He said to her. What do you want? He said to her. Now I can change this into indirect speech like this. What do you want? He said to her. He asked her. Or I can also write, he inquired of her. He asked her or he inquired of her what she wanted. Or he inquired of her what she wanted. Now question is beginning with shall I or shall we. Question is beginning with shall I or shall we. So the question is beginning with shall I or shall we to express request, advice or instruction. To express request, advice or instruction, or change it like yes no questions. Change it like yes no questions. That means the questions beginning with helping verbs and modals, they are yes no questions, and the questions which begin with shall I or shall we, to express request, advice or instruction, or change like yes no questions. But here you have to remember shall becomes should. For example, she said, shall I switch on the fan She said, shall I switch on the fan? This is direct speech. She asked if or whether. She asked if or whether. First we change subject, then verb. Whether she shall become should. She should switch on the fan. So the question is beginning with shall I or shall we. When they express request, advice or instruction, then shall becomes should, as it is clear from this example. Now shall becomes would when such questions express request for information. So when there is not advice or instruction, but when such questions express request for information. When such questions express request for information. When such questions express request for information, then shall becomes would. For example, she said, shall I ever get a job? She said, shall I ever get a job? You can clearly understand the difference between shall I switch on the fan, shall I ever get a job. Here we have the request for information. So when there is a request for information, then shall becomes would and not should. She said, shall I ever get a job? Okay, right? She asked or she wondered. If or whether she would ever get a job. Now in the next video we shall discuss imperative sentences, how we change them from direct speech to indirect speech. Thank you.